Only the hibiscus was minding his own business when suddenly he got eaten by a horse. When Keone was consumed, swallowed up and chewed, the nitrogen was taken with the course. The nitrogen said, "Hooray! I'm inside DNA, where genetic information's on display." The nitrogen and spaces kept to their own places. A with T and G with C, their hydrogen bonds are 2 and 3. A is for adenine and T is for thymine. G is for guanine and C is for cytosine. One nucleotide has a lot inside: phosphate, deoxyribose, and nitrogenous base.
Before separation can come through, we need meiosis 1 and 2. Step 1, prophase 1 occurs. The chromosomes pair with their corresponding homologous chromosomes and form a tetrad so they're not alone. They then cross over. They have 4 strands just like a clover. Step 2, metaphase and anaphase 1. First, the pairs line up across the center of the cell. Then spindle fibers pull each pair towards opposite ends of the cell. Step 3, telophase and cytokinesis. Chromosomes spread into 2 pieces. Then a nuclear membrane forms around them, forming 2 new cells for their friends. Meiosis 2. Step 1. Here comes prophase 2, where chromosomes visibility comes through. Each consists of 2 chromosomes, 2. Next comes metaphase, anaphase, and telophase 2. Chromosomes line up at each end of the cell. As the cells enter anaphase, the chromatids separate. This they will do very well. This results in 4 haploid daughter cells. Mitosis we have begun to miss. Prophase, material inside the nucleus, contains genetic info and condenses. The duplicated chromosomes we begin to see. Spindle outside the nucleus starts to be. In metaphase, duplicated chromosomes line up in the center cells. Then, in the centromere of each chromosome, spindle fibers enter. The third phase of mitosis is anaphase. Mitosis is in its final phase. The chromosomes which were condensed spread in a tangle of chromatin and become less tense. The process of mitosis has come to an end.
Here's how DNA makes up genes. Before genes are passed from parent to offspring, the genes must do a lot of things. Using transcription and translation, they must make proteins. Many genes contain instructions for assembling them. Proteins are enzymes that catalyze so chemical reactions don't break or bend. Here's how DNA replicates. Before a cell divides, the DNA duplicates. Replication makes each cell have the same set of DNA molecules. This process can be very cool. The DNA it takes place in is eukaryotic. Without its enzyme, DNA polymerase, this would be neurotic. Transcription takes place with the DNA. It transmits its information. The RNA segments of DNA serve as templates to produce complementary RNA molecules and determine its fate. Both DNA and RNA have a base sequence to combine to each other without consequence. Transcription then uses RNA polymerase that binds to DNA to make the strands separate. RNA polymerase takes one DNA strand to assemble nucleotides into complementary RNA strands so it stands. Once you break it down, it's easy to understand. After transcription, then comes translation. Translation occurs in the cytoplasm. It makes proteins from the messages in messenger RNA. It begins when a ribosome attaches to an mRNA molecule in the cytoplasm. The ribosome reads each codon of mRNA that directs tRNA to bring the specified amino acid into the ribosome. Each tRNA has an anticodon that is complementary to the mRNA codon. Each amino acid then becomes part of a long chain called polypeptide. The polypeptide chain continues to grow until the ribosome reaches a stop codon on the mRNA molecule. Then the translation comes to an end. And finally, the horse comes to its last section, where its offspring must go through natural selection. Before the horse's offspring is born, it must become a unicorn and grow a horn. This happens by insertion of a certain nitrogenous base, putting the sequence of amino acids out of place. The sequence doesn't code for a stop in time, so the cells forming the bone keep growing the horn. The reason this must be is that it is what the horses need. So this way they can fight for food with all their might. Using the horn's point, their predators they won't appoint. Years pass and the unicorn dies of age, but to make sure the nitrogen leaves its place, the nitrogen comes out through the horse's waist and stays in the atmosphere to bring on a new phase.